Hi everybody, we are here at the 2019 Cascades Futurity, which is an aged event, but we're catching up with a couple of haulers who have come all the way out here to the beautiful facility out here at Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Oregon. We'd like to welcome James Figiel. Welcome, James.
How are you, Mark?
Good, good. Sitting second in the world right now in the 35,000 non-pro, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
good
sir.
Deal. And we've also got Corrie Rousey here, the leader right now in the 50,000 amateur. Welcome, Corrie.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. So these guys obviously doing pretty good, having a pretty good year so far, and we just thought we'd kind of talk to them a little bit and find out a little bit more about how their year's going and some of the things that have gone on. So, James, how did you get started in cutting?
I got started with Chubby Turner and Ginger Turner when I was about 7 years old at Silverado when he was training for Jerry Durant.
Yep.
And Ginger and Chubby taught me the basics of how to saddle a horse and how to groom a horse and just all the basic stuff, and I can't thank them enough for that. And then, you know, as I got better and developed and Chubby started hauling more and I wasn't able to go because of school, I started riding with Lindy Birch.
Yep. And
I spent 6 summers with her showing in the youth and getting horses ready for her. And that's where I really learned how to get horses ready, you know, how to do the bigger time stuff for loping and preparation and care. So you know, those two people have definitely influenced me the most, and I'm very grateful to have that experience and start with them.
Yeah. And Corrie, we go way back, back in my wrap ranch days.
That's right.
In the mid-90s. About the summertime every year, we'd see this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed little girl show up all the way from California and come spend the summer with us.
Yep, that's right.
And we had a lot of fun, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely. We had a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us, how did you get to that stage?
My mom and Vicki Benedict were really good friends out in California, and I would run around DLR Ranch begging people to allow me to get on their horses and exercise them. Then Nancy Clayton finally allowed me to show one, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
And we went out to the AYQHA World, and Phil and Marianne put me on short on looks, and I was hooked from then on out, and they allowed me to come back every summer, and I did. I
mean, you've both kind of come and gone out of the industry a little bit. You went to school, you went to work, and now you're kind of back into what made you decide to haul, James?
You know, I'd been around the industry so long, I've got that passion and bug for it. I love every aspect of the horse world. And, you know, after school, I wanted to get back and start showing, you know, and obviously, since I've worked for people, I had to come back and be in the non-pro. And so I decided, you know, I'm just going to haul in the 35. And, you know, we like coming out on the West Coast the last few years. We've come up here with Galen a lot, so I was like, you know, this is a perfect year to do it. And, you know, out here the 35 is big, so I want to support that. And we come out here a lot and show. And I just, you know, I've always had a passion for it, and I just wanted to do it this year and go for it. And I've just been blessed to have some great horses along the way, and it's been awesome being with Galen and Shannon along the way, and it's just been a great year. So
yeah. You guys are having a pretty good year.
Yes, sir.
And a big team going down the road.
Sir.
So that
yes,
helps.
sir. Yeah.
Corrie, what about you? What made you decide all of a sudden come back onto the cutting scene and go hauling?
I didn't ride for about 9 years. I just did some pasture riding here and there, and I had an opportunity to buy Stop Toying with me, and he made it so much fun to just go down the road. I decided late in the year last year that I would try to make the top 15. Ended up 16th.
Yeah. Wow.
So by $565.
Been there, done
yeah.
Yeah.
So and I just came back with a vengeance and hungry for it, and kind of decided I wasn't going to skip a weekend unless I had to, and we've had a lot of fun this year. It's been a blast. Yeah.
Well, and I think, obviously the commitment part is the important part, and makes the difference sometimes between 15th and 16th.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Talk about how did you start out the year? Like, what was your process like, sitting down and going, okay, this is how I'm going to start the year out?
That's a great question, because I didn't do this at the end of last year. I sat down with Phil and Marianne Rapp, and I said, okay, this is my goal. It was just to make the top 10. And how do I do it?
Yeah.
And I didn't sit down with them last year and go strategize about the shows I should go to. Well, I learned that lesson.
Yep.
And so we sat down and they helped me kind of get my schedule in line, and this is what you need to do, where you need to go, and how you need to do it. And they said they'd help me along the way anywhere they can, and I appreciate them very much for that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And James, obviously yours is probably a little bit different because you've got Galen in the open and you've got Shannon showing and then yourself as well.
Yes, sir.
So what was your process?
Well, you know, the 35 is not a real big class in Texas. So, you know, out on the West Coast, it's one of the biggest classes. Right. So in order to make the top 15 and be in the standings, you have to come out and show, Arizona, California, Oregon, just anywhere out west, because the classes are so big. But I commend the Pacific Coast and Arizona, because they put on really great shows, and they really cater to that 35 non-pro.
Yeah. So both of you are saying that the weather here has got nothing to do with your
Actually, no.
Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
The weather is wonderful here, for sure.
It is. What are some of the challenges now that you guys have faced along the way that maybe you hadn't counted on, or that maybe popped up?
Well, in the 35, it's rerun cows. So, it's not like a fresh cattle class. So you really have to be smart and really precise in the way you show and the way you prepare your horse, because it's a lot different, because a lot of times we're showing cows that have been cut 2 or 3 times. Right. So, you really have to be mindful and really think and really just have a smart, clean run. That's probably one of the biggest challenges I've faced this year, is showing on rerun cows. The challenges we have too, other than that, would probably be, we're so far away from home. There's just little things. We've had trailer blowouts. We've had horses get sick. Yeah. We've had to get, different health, just little stuff like that.
Improvising along.
Yeah, and, but, in the end, it's all worth it, But
what about you, Corrie? What are some of the challenges you've faced?
I would say the logistics of getting to and from, with a full-time job, and just making sure that all my, your first goal is to have your horses safe, put up healthy, sound, and have a roof over their head, type of deal. But so it's just probably been the logistics of getting up here,
right.
And just making your time count.
Yeah.
The times you walk to the herd count, and just getting to all these cool places.
Sure.
But
absolutely.
Yeah.
So talking about that along the way, obviously there's a lot of memorable moments. Talk about some of those.
Well, the first show we went to in Tucson, Arizona, it was kind of a little bit of a story getting there. We went through Roswell and we got stuck.
Uh-oh.
And we got up to kind of a bad start. We were stuck on the road for about 6 hours, and we were all just like, oh my gosh, why do we do this?
Yeah.
But we got to a show in Tucson, and the weather was terrible the whole time. It was just bizarre for Arizona. Right. It was raining and snowing, and everybody was just cold. But it was our first show, one of our first shows of the year, and I won the circuit in the 35, and they had a rerun saddle class for the 35 to 2035, and I was the third horse out, and I marked a 148 and won a saddle. Nice. So it was really got the year started off right, because I'd never won a saddle, so it was really cool.
Always special. Awesome. Corrie, what about you? You've had some memorable moments.
Oh yeah. I've been able to show some and own some great horses, so I'm truly blessed there. But the memorable moments are the friends you make on the road. I mean, hauling, James and I have become good friends. Shannon, Kathy Bro, Lisa Haldane, Shelley Hall, Amy Jones, all these people that I would not have had the opportunity to become good friends with. I mean, they're all my buddies, and we all root for each other. That is probably the most memorable and touching part of the sport, is that we root for our competitors. We are best friends with our competitors, and it's probably one of the only sports that you see that happen in. Right. And so that is hands down the most memorable. Not to mention my Stop Toying with Me, Swing Through the Drive. I mean, they're just great horses. What
does it mean to you guys to qualify for the? Well, obviously you're first, you're sitting second right now in the hunt. What does that mean? Tell us about that.
You go ahead, Corrie.
It is to me the highest goal I have right now. It is to make the World Finals and God willing win it.
Yeah.
It means the world, especially coming from 16th last year.
Right.
I mean, I'm going after it.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I started out the year going, I need to do this better, and this better. And through run after run, I feel like I've chipped away at those goals. And it's just an honor to be walking to the herd in the World Finals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. What about you, Jim?
Like Corrie said, it's a big honor. You spend tireless hours, watching cows, having different help, having people work your horses, and it's like building up to like a Super Bowl or an NBA championship. You work all year in that off season, and then when you get to that, the season, you work hard. You develop friendships. You push through everything, the ups, the downs. Because it'll bring you real high and bring you down real low. And that's what makes it worth it. At the end, you're like, man, I made it. I did it. Whether you're in 15th or first place, the fact that you're in the top 15, that's a big deal.
Tell us about, so say next year you guys aren't hauling, I don't know what your plans are, but let's just say next year you're not hauling, but you get to pick one show to go back to that you've been to so far this year. What show do you pick?
Oh man, that's a tough one, Mark.
That's a tough one.
Ooh. Can we break it down by state?
So, well, let's just talk about, a show that really stands out to you. You've already mentioned a couple, obviously.
El Rancho's pretty cool. That's a neat place. It's just, it's one of the few places that has an outdoor cutting.
Right.
And Carol's just a state-of-the-art facility. She puts on a great show. It's hot normally that time of year, but she does everything she can to accommodate, and it's just a fun show. That's probably, it's hard, in Arizona too, it's hard to, because we spend a lot of time in Arizona. Queen Creek puts on a great show too.
Yeah.
Those are probably my two favorite shows. I don't know if I could, I'd have to narrow it down to those two, but I would say Rancho and Arizona, Queen Creek, just because they just put on a great show and it's a fun group of people.
Sure.
I'm going to throw you for a loop. I'm going to say Vegas.
Yeah?
I didn't go out to Vegas this year, and I look forward to going to that show next year, and it just looks like the biggest amount of fun.
What advice would you guys give? So somebody's sitting on the fence right now thinking, man, I'd really like to go haul. I've got a good horse. What advice do you give, James?
Just get a game plan. Figure out your class.
Yeah.
It depends on the class, but like if you're on a rerun cattle class, obviously you're going to want to show on the West Coast. Fresh cattle class, you got a little more leniency, but just have a game plan. Just write down about 3 or 4 shows. That's what we do. After every show we have a game plan. Just write down shows. Okay, what's our goal? What do we want to do?
Yeah.
What do we want to accomplish? And just take it each run one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Because those shows can be long, the year's long. Just take it one run at a time. And then if you start doing good, then take it one show at a time.
Yeah.
Just to pivot off James, commit early.
Yeah.
Commit early, set a goal for yourself, and just let the chips fall where they may, because it will throw you first. Curveballs will come your way. Just start early. It's hard to play catch up.
Yeah, it's almost like we could take a psychiatrist around with us. We just have like a little booth somewhere.
Exactly. For the mental game, absolutely.
Yeah. Any new habits, bad habits, good habits that you guys have developed along the way?
Well, I think I've mastered cutting shape.
Cutting shape.
On reruns, because in the 35, different than 50, but in the 35, because a lot of times you don't get fresh cows, so I've learned how to cut shape. Maybe a bad habit, maybe trying to throw down too quick, but on a rerun cow, sometimes you don't get that opportunity to make those clean cuts like you want to, but overall, it's been pretty good. It's just taught me a lot.
If I do bad in a shirt,
it's gone.
It's gone. I have literally taken off. I have literally taken off a shirt right after showing in the bathroom and throw it in the trash.
I know exactly where that comes from.
I know you do.
Yes, I've seen Phil do that.
Exactly. I think I try to keep myself a little on my toes. I would say habits driving. I have to have a book on tape. Yeah, it's not going to be in the show pin. It's you got to be on your toes and be agile in the show pin. And
all right, so we're here in August, midway through August, so we're getting into the last half of the year. So any different strategies? How has strategy changed going into the last half of the year, sitting where you guys are sitting?
Well, the guy that's winning at Gavin, me and him, we're pretty much the front runners in that class, and at this point in the year, it's just about being smart and clean. It's not about going and trying to lay down a big score. It's just about being smart and getting checks consistently, trying to, keep that balance in check.
Just keep getting checks.
Getting checks.
Just stay consistent.
You're not slowing down. You're going to go right with what's got you here.
You can't slow down at this point.
Yeah.
No, you got to keep going and keeping strong and keeping consistent and just bringing in those checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So where are you headed to next after here?
We're gonna go to Idaho.
Yep.
I won't show I'm gonna show my new age event horse there, my 6-year-old. My 35 horse is gonna get a little break
Right.
because we've been going hard. We've been gone for about a month, so he's gonna get a little break. I'm gonna show my 6-year-old there in Idaho, and then we'll go to Rancho, and Carol's gonna have a full set of classes there, so I'll get to show weekend and age event. So.
Yeah. What about you?
We're gonna hit this way out West Series and then go home to Texas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you'll be going to Idaho next?
Idaho, then
Yeah,
El Rancho, and then home.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see you guys there. Well,
Yeah.
listen, best of luck to both
Thank
of
you
you.
so much, Mark.
Thanks for sitting down with us here today and kind of enlightening us a little bit on the
All
horse
right.
side.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much, Mark.
Good luck.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.